Please welcome aboard Chronic Hoosier. How are you, sir?
I am glad to be back. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Always a fun one. It was a hell of a weekend in basketball all the way around. Dustin Schutte, just not just the Indiana games, of course, Indiana knocking off Purdue to sweep Purdue and to win at Mackey for the first time in 10 years. The women, that unbelievable game at Iowa, but they head into the Big Ten tournament as the number one seed, which starts this week. The men have a game tonight against Iowa to replay a game in which they had a 20-point lead in and lost. But they're going to be they'll remember that. But they also I don't think they need any of that for motivation, Chronic. They need to win these last two games to secure a number 2 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, I think Woody said it best after the game, and I saw the team account share it. The quote, I think, was something to the effect that you cannot go back home and not validate that win in West Lafayette. You cannot. And I think that's imperative for them to internalize that message. Because as we've seen, the highest highs can quickly be replaced with a loss. And this time of year, with all the implications, whether it be conference seeding, NCAA seed line, you just have to hold home court. You have to seize those opportunities and maximize what's in front of you. And for, as we've talked about for the last several months now, for a team that has battled back from the disappointment of December and early January and the injuries and everything that ensued, to put themselves in this position now where they're in control of their own destiny, sitting in a 4-way tie in second place in the league. This is theirs to lose. And with Indiana, you cannot lose at home. You just can't. For a team that is renowned for their ups and downs home and away, you absolutely have to be able to lock these last two up and put yourself in the best position to, possibly win the program's first conference tournament, and certainly give yourself a chance to compete deep into March with a good NCAA seed line.
And one of the things that I think is, this might sound weird, but I think it's almost beneficial that Indiana is playing an Iowa team that came back from a 21-point deficit, a month ago, when they had that struggle. Because I feel like if you're playing Minnesota or a Wisconsin or a Penn State, I mean, those teams are good. But in those situations, there might be more of a letdown. I feel like for Indiana to come home and play a team that they should have beat, they let one slip away, they're going to have that bitter taste in their mouth. So it keeps the hunger there, as opposed to if you're playing a team maybe you've already beaten or you're not going to take as seriously.
No doubt. And I think it gives them a chance inside the locker room to excise some of those demons and just validate who they know themselves to be, who they know themselves to be capable of. And honestly, what a better foil than Iowa. It seems like it transcends all sports right now. Iowa's just become such an easy team to hate, with some of the personalities and certainly some of the administration over there. But I think they play a great villain for tonight's matchup in Assembly Hall. And let's see what Shenanigans Friends has in store, because after the post-game comments and what happened in-game last time these two teams faced, my guess is you're not going to see a lot of love lost between the two benches, and I'm here for that kind of action.
I'm just going to
I love a good shenanigan. I love a good shenanigan.
I do too. I was just going to throw this out. Is that I can't remember, and so jog my memory, either of you two. Has there been a more villainous men's and women's basketball team in the same season than Iowa is this year? I can't remember it. Like not
in the conference that I recall.
Even if you go to even if you throw in the rivalry with like Purdue or something, like generally Purdue and Indiana, they have likable players. Like it's just like it's the rivalry. It's not necessarily the players or the guys on the bench or whatever the case might be. I'm trying to remember like the two most aggravating. That's a great word.
People in the conference on both sides of men's and women's basketball come from the same school. That is, yes, there's no doubt. Well, Caitlin Clark is the best player in women's basketball. I will continue to always preface it with that. She is the most aggravating and arrogant. That's just all you can say. She is just arrogant beyond belief. Fran is just his antics, or frantics, as Dustin coined the great phrase yesterday. They're beyond. I'm tired. I'm tired of them. I was tired of him when he got the T rescinded, which I don't know how the hell that happens. Then the other day we see him do the 5-foot stare down with the official. Attempted intimidation of official, doesn't get teed up again. He's getting away with stuff that's the Big Ten's fault. They need to take care of that. It's ridiculous, and I'm tired of seeing it.
Now, I'm thinking back.
Of course, everybody's bringing up Bob Knight. You know that, Chronic.
Oh yeah. No, Wisconsin certainly had some villainous teams on the men's side. Aaron Kraft over at Ohio State was probably one of the more easy guys in the league to ever hate. Although you certainly would love to have him on your team. I don't know that I ever want Brad Davison on my team. Sorry, Tyra. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to chew on that one for a while and let me get back with you. But it's certainly up there, and it's all the way down the line at Iowa. I'm still salty about the league's decision during the COVID year to let Ohio State leapfrog Indiana, but that's neither here nor there. But Gary Barta is certainly not high up on my list of rival administrators either, for a number of different reasons. But not the least of which is because they've enabled Fran. But quite frankly, Fran just acts a fool. I mean, he shows his ass on a regular basis, and it's unbecoming of the league. I understand it's passion is welcome and celebrated, but let's be honest, he acts like a horse's ass more often than not. And it's grown really stale. The problem is, as
well,
we've
it's because
seen
it seems planned. With Bob Knight, you knew it was just him erupting, or there was nothing planned about what he was doing until the NCAA tournament came around. Then I know he did some things with purpose to take pressure off of his team, but not this kind of stuff. And nothing he ever did like this. So much of what Fran does looks planned out. And the hold me back thing, I've said it before. I'm like, let him go. What the hell's he going to do? Let him go. He's not going to do anything. It's
performative. It's 100% performative, but it's frustrating on a number of fronts, not the least of which because it's effective. It's effective. We've seen it have impact on games. The way in which he can get officials to respond to his antics. But quite frankly, it's dangerous. And I think it's something that the league needs to take better control of and rein it in before it spills into something that gets really, really ugly. And we've seen this with Juwan Howard at Michigan. When you have guys who have a pattern and a habit and a practice of letting their emotions go out of control, it's a bad look for the league, and it can put a lot of people in a really bad situation that's totally controllable. And, quite frankly, like when Indiana visited Iowa City, for a coach to enter another team's huddle, it's just so far beyond the pale. And, even more so that it wasn't teed up on the spot, because quite frankly, what he does in situations like that is just a powder keg waiting to blow up. And we've all seen enough ugliness spill out onto the floor. You would expect the adults in the gym to take the lead, and when they show that they're incapable of doing that, at some point it's past time for the league to take action and put a stop to it before it gets a whole lot uglier than what it's already been.